Hello and welcome to 2 plus 2 equals cabbage. In this video, we're going to answer the question, how do I create an account in GCP to publish with Terraform? Some of the things we'll cover in the video today are we're going to need to create a project in GCP, and then we'll create a service account. We'll generate a JSON key, download that key, and then we'll also have to go in and enable the Compute Engine API so we can publish things. And then at the end, we'll build the sample terraform.tfrs file so we can get started publishing into GCP. Okay, let's figure it out together. Let's get started at the Google Cloud Console, console.cloud.google.com. And the first thing that we're going to need to do is we need to create a project. And we're assuming that we're starting from a pretty vanilla Google Cloud Platform tenant. So we don't really have anything to speak of in here. So we're going to start from scratch. And the first thing we'll do is add a new project. And we can do that by clicking in the Open Project Picker, which is right here at the top. And it'll give us an option to create a new project. So we click New Project. And here we can name the project whatever we want. I'm just going to call this one Terraform Project. And one bit of information that we'll need right away is the project ID. And we can get this in a couple of other places, but it's right here right now. So I'm just going to take a copy of it right now. And I'll also show you where we can get it later. And I'll just put this in a text file. And the next thing that we'll do is just click Create. And once it's created, it doesn't take very long to create the project. We'll see it over here in the notifications, and we do need to select the project. This is the quickest way to do it from here, so we'll just hit Select Project. The screen didn't change very much, but you'll notice that the project name up in the picker did change to the new project name. We can also get that project ID here, and there is a copy button if we wanted to copy it right from there. We can copy it right to the clipboard, so that's another handy way to do that. The next thing we'll do is we'll create a service account. So we're going to start up at the hamburger menu, top left corner, and we'll go down to IAM and admin. And once this loads, we'll see in the left menu, there will be an option for service accounts. Clicking into there. And then we're just going to click the Create Service Account button. So we'll name our service account. We'll call it Terraform Test. And then the service account ID is automatically populated, so we don't need to do anything with that. We'll hit Create and Continue. This creates the service account, but we haven't assigned any roles to it yet, so the next step is going to be to assign the role that we need. So we'll click on Select a Role, and I'm just going to type in the box Editor, because that's the type of role we need. And once we assign the editor role, that's the role we'll need to publish with Terraform. So that's done, and we can just click Done. So now we see that our service account has been created, and the next step we need to follow is to create a JSON key. So we'll click on the service account that we created, and then we'll click the Keys tab up at the top, and then we'll click Add Key, Create New Key. JSON is selected by default. We'll hit Create, and the key automatically downloads when we've done that. So we can click Close here. So we've got our project, we've got our service account, we've got our JSON key. The next thing we need to do in order to enable publishing with Terraform is to enable the Compute Engine API. Without doing this, your Terraform applies will fail. So we'll go up to the hamburger menu again, and we'll go down to APIs and Services. And we'll select the library. And this will give us the library of all the available APIs and services. And we'll just type in the search box, Compute Engine API. And we'll select it. And then it's the first one on the list here. We'll click that. and then we'll click enable. And this takes a minute to enable. One thing that you may happen in your case when you're doing this is if you don't have any billing enabled on your GCP account, this will take you out into a billing loop, and it'll have you enter your credit card information and things like that, just so you have it on file, because once you start using the API engine, it could potentially start generating costs. I've already done that for my tenant, so this will just finish in a minute. And when it is, we'll be pretty much done here. Okay, we're finished. The Compute Engine API is activated. So we've done everything we needed to do within the console. We created the project, we created the service account, we added permissions or a role to the service account, we generated the JSON key and downloaded it, and then we enabled the Compute Engine API. So we're done in the console. Next, we'll move on to a text editor where we will create a sample terraform.tfrs file with all the information we collected. And here we are with our Terraform TFRs template that we got from the GitHub. All the files that we'll be working on are in the GitHub page, which will be linked. And the only thing that we need to do here, based on our current example with GCP, is we need to populate the project ID, and then we need to populate the credentials file. So from our text file that we copied off of earlier, we'll grab the project ID and paste that in here. And then the credentials file, so this is a relative path from where your Terraform files are executing. And what we'll do here is I'll copy in an example here. And this is the file that we downloaded when we created the project. Let me clean things up here just a little bit. So it's a little bit more readable. And all this says is that the file that we downloaded is 3 levels below where Terraform lives. And one of the reasons you may consider placing your key files outside of the immediate Terraform path is just to make sure if you're publishing to GitHub or something like that, you want to make sure, in addition to excluding the file names in your gitignore file, it also helps to just put them outside of the path of the repository, so that way they can't be picked up and accidentally uploaded into GitHub. So that's all we needed to do here right now. All these other fields will be important when we actually start to publish, and some of the examples we'll go over, we'll cover all those in detail. But for right now, we have what we need. We've got the GCP account created, and we have the Terraform TFR files pretty much started. I noticed a typo there, so we're going to get rid of this extra quote, and we're going to be in good shape to move forward. Thanks for visiting 2 + 2 = Cabbage. If you found this video useful, like and subscribe to show me there are people out there who would like to see more of this content.